All right, so we're back. It's me again, Simon, here on Wine a Bit with Simon, the podcast that three of you are listening to. And I am blessed and super stoked to be joined today at the table by my friend Surrey, who now I've been fortunate to call a friend now for close to 20 years.
Yeah.
We're coming up, we're like at 17, 18 years, right?
Yeah.
08, I moved to Oak Park.
Yeah.
And you're already here.
Yeah.
And one of the things we were just chatting about, I love this, is like, I feel like the universe wanted us to meet, right? It just kept putting us in each other's paths. I moved onto still ostensibly one of the best blocks in Oak Park. Both sides of the alley, tremendous.
We had a similar experience in that we both moved to Oak Park to this same block because we had kids of about the same age, and
Absolutely.
it makes sense to move to Oak Park when you have kids entering school.
Very true.
Especially if you have multiple kids entering school.
Very true.
The math makes sense. And you moved down 4 doors down for me, and it was, I think, I had a very similar experience. Like, wow, okay, this house is pretty cool. And then, oh my God, my neighbors are amazing. We just really have very fun neighbors, very outgoing neighbors. And just me getting to meet you was great. It was like friendship right off the bat. Like, this is going to be a fun, couple to get together with, and our kids like each other, and we can drink wine together and have little parties. And that's started to happen. And then an amazing thing is I'm in this basketball league in Oak Park, which I had discovered through other channels. And just a great group of guys if you're into playing basketball. And I had no idea Simon was into playing basketball because he talked about Britain and soccer. And, our kids were doing soccer and had no idea. So I didn't even bring up that I played basketball. And then sure enough, he comes showing up right in our Tuesday night league without even me telling him about it.
Absolutely wild, right? So I moved there. We moved to Oak Park in May. That's Jenny and the kids and I moved in May. And I started playing the men's Tuesday night league in August. And so we'd already hung out together a bit, and we'd gotten to know each other, and we enjoyed each other's companies. And then I roll into the gym.
Run some wine parties together.
I roll into the gym that first day, and you're like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" Like, yeah. So, and it's just been awesome ever since. Since then, I mean, we've done a little domestic traveling together. We've been to Austin with the Tuesday Night Hoops guys. We've been to Louisville.
Yep.
So it's just been wonderful, and I've really. I cherish you, man, as a friend. Like the times that I'm not able, like this past Tuesday, I was all in for hoops in the bar. Karina was leaving on Wednesday. She's been in Austin since Wednesday, having a blast with her Ladies of '89 high school graduation crew.
Great.
And I was like, oh, it's my last night here with her, so I gotta be a good boy and stay home.
I'll say in Tuesday Night Hoops, it's a great bunch of guys, and we do things together. We plan things, and there's sort of the people that play basketball, and then there's a good subset of them that go to the bar and just to have an after the game drink, and then there's a little subset that stays a little later at the bar. It gets a little deeper into conversation and a little deeper into the drinks. And that just has led to a lot of great ideas for these trips that we take, and also just a real bonding. And Simon and I are definitely among the closers.
Closers.
Called the closers.
Yeah, the closers.
And we've really bonded over that. It's great
absolutely
to discuss problems and happiness and good ideas to make life more fun, and also just working through when you're dealing with shit. It's so valuable to have that.
There's so much chat today too, in the pop psychology circles about the importance of adult male relationships and friendships that are genuine and not based strictly in competition.
Right.
And call out Lawrence Massall, right? R.I.P. A great man. And I remember him saying to me one of my first times at the playing hoops, playing TNH, he's like, you just don't take it to the bar. And so, you may get chippy with people on the court, and you may get there may be a little aggro, but when you get to the bar and you have that first cold barley pop, everything's better, and you can.
It's like that Foghorn Leghorn cartoon or whatever. The horn goes off at the end of hoops. Remember there's the chicken and the fox, or whatever. They fight all day, or the dog.
Oh, when the steam horn goes off, they're all done.
They're all buddies. They're all chummy. But I mean, not that we get that chippy playing ball, but it is a point. Like, it's just been a great group of guys because we all value it and we all gain from it, and just the shared emotional, just knowing a bunch of people are going through the same things in life as you. And it's just so valuable.
So one of the things that's been, I think, I don't want to sound like more of an alcoholic than I probably am. But one of the things that I think has been a great, another bonding part of our relationship is a mutual love of wine. And I think we're in different places with it. I think you're probably further down the track than me. I think you have a more sophisticated palate than I do, for sure. But you've always, like you said, we threw, for Valentine's Day, I think it was 2 years in a row, we threw a Reds and Whites party, right?
Yeah.
Where we did,
Yeah.
we had Whites at one house and Reds at the other house.
We do flights and talk about them.
Super good time, yeah. So you've always, whenever you've shown up to my house, as you did tonight, provided a bottle or two, or sometimes a few more of like really enjoyable wine. And tonight, normally I'm going to be like, I want to be the one choosing the wine, but I defer to your wisdom. But before we talk about the wine specifically, just before we start, I hit record. You shared a little bit about your wine journey, and I'd love to hear just like a little bit. Can you fill us in a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So when I first came to Chicago, I came to the University of Chicago to enter into an economic PhD program. I'd come from UCLA. Prior to that time, this was when I was 21 years old, about to turn 22. My dad was a beer drinker, and all my buddies all through college drank beer, drank a little bit of wine, drank mixed drinks and stuff like that. I mean, stuff kids drink. And when I came to the University of Chicago, I met this older man named Gregory Hillhouse, who would become just a dear, dear friend of mine. He was a great basketball player. Lots of stories about him. But he loved wine. He was a chemist, very famous chemist actually, and a very good cook, and loved wine. And we became friends outside of the court after about 3 months. And he was going through some sad times when I first met him, but he was just a very fun-loving guy. Loved to throw dinner parties. Loved to be, and he was just very generous with wine, and he loved wine. So through him, I really got an experience of drinking good wines and just being open to all different kinds of wines and matching wines with food. And I was a bit of just into food for my age at that point, liked to cook, and he was a great cook. So for me, food and wine really go together in terms of an experience. And I love going to wine dinners. He introduced me to going to these, wine dinners that you have in the city where people from the winery come and showcase their wine and give a speech about their family history making the wine and match the wine with food. I love that whole experience. And then just getting to go to wine country, he opened all those doors to me, and they're just things I really love to do. So I have a lot of family in California, so I've been to Sonoma many times, and Napa, and just cruising wineries, and then up into Oregon.
Yep.
And I've done it in other countries too. And wine is just very much an experience good, right?
Yeah.
If you like it, you just learn what you like, and you learn about
fire
it.
after.
And, and it's been a great joy to me. And very sadly in my life, he became very close in our family. He was known as Uncle Greg, and then he got pancreatic cancer. And he was homosexual and never married, but always a very close friend. And when he passed away, he left me his wine collection. So I've had all these unbelievable wines, and I try to share them as much as I can.
Well, I say from personal experience, you've done a tremendous job sharing with me. I don't know if they're old Greg Hillhouse from his cellar, but I actually met him. Okay. I met him once at an event which is still known as the world's saddest Super Bowl party.
That's right.
Yes,
That's
sorry.
Right.
Rip
the Denver Broncos got hammered by the Seattle Seahawks.
You had so many people over. It was absolutely terrible.
Oh, that was a hilarious. I mean, it was sad, but everything went wrong in that game if you're a Broncos fan. They fumbled the freaking first snap, and they just got hammered. They just got creamed. So it was hard to have too much fun at that.
But I did have the opportunity to meet Greg Hillhouse, and I know how fondly you think of him and his memory. All right, hey, so
do you want to hear about my segue into sailing through that too?
Oh, good God!
One of the things I just gotta say, like Greg Hillhouse, a gift that keeps on giving. But when he introduced me to a lot of different chemists, but when he passed away, he wanted his ashes spread in 3 different places, and one of them was in Newport. And one of his good buddies, Christopher Cummins, who's also a famous chemist, offered to sail down there in a boat. Like, well, if you want to drop the ashes in Newport, how about we sail in my boat? I'm like, dude, you sail?
Wait, hold on. This is your annual sailing trip guy?
Yeah.
And you didn't know him before I
knew him before, but I didn't know he sailed.
Okay, so you knew
I knew him. I knew he was a good chemist, and we'd had fun partying together. We'd been to like Greg's 50th birthday party together, and had fun partying together, but I had no idea that he sailed. And when I was a kid, sailing has like become a real joy in my life at this age for me, and I'm 55. When I was a kid, my uncle sailed, and I learned about boats. I learned how to sail, but I always thought sailing was just slow and boring, and like motorboats and water skiing were the only way to go.
Yeah.
And I've come later in life, like started in my late 30s and 40s, but definitely now to just love sailing. I just love the feel of it. I could just do it all day.
And to be really clear, we're not talking about taking a dinghy out and putting around in a lake.
Sailing a 40-foot boat, like
right,
in the ocean. Like,
and you go from. Do you start in Newport or do you?
We sail around. We sail around like from Tiverton, Rhode Island, to Newport, out to Block Island.
Yeah.
You know, we've been to Connecticut. It's not like we cross the Atlantic or anything, although we've talked about doing that. But it just takes a lot of time to do that, and then you got to get back. And it can be, but love sailing.
It's
and
fantastic.
we do it safely. So in doing this, dropping off his ashes with Kit Cummings, he and I have become really best buds.
Yeah.
And we go sailing the British Virgin Islands together and sail on his boat on the East Coast. And that's just been a real joy. And we still cry talking about Greg Hill.
Yeah.
We both loved him.
That's wild.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's so cool. Like, what a cool way to build that relationship with someone. You're a connector. I mean, that is kind of seems to be one of your many gifts, right? Like, you just...
I think people say that. I hear that. People say I just do a great job of bringing people together. And to me, it's natural. To me, I am an extrovert. I am a people person, and I'm fun and fun-loving and chase fun a lot.
Yeah.
And that's just led to meeting great people. And then I think I'm good about knowing when I think people will get along. They don't always. It always bums me out when I get groups of people together and they don't like each other. But for the most part, they do. And that kind of expands horizons.
Yeah, for sure.
I love to go to music festivals. I have met so many of my friends through playing basketball and through doing sports, and that's been a lifelong thing. And then there's just another set of people that I've met through music festivals and following bands together. My Morning Jacket.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but there is now a core of a group around that.
My Morning Jacket set of friends, and my brother's super into them. My brother didn't have tattoos until he was 51 years old. He's now like 52 years old, and now he has like 4 tattoos. 3 of them are My Morning Jacket tattoos. So that's what broke the well on that one.
I'll tell you what. Because this is only episode 3 and episode 1 really didn't count. Let's just flip the script. Let's just keep going on this because this conversation is super fun. We'll come back to the wine. Just for the notes, we are enjoying a 2003 Ridge East Bench Zinfandel.
Yeah, I love Ridge Reds. I find their cab. I mean, their kind of real flagship wines are super expensive, and they're a little out of my league. But I love being in the Z Club, and it's just one I can't let go.
I'm sorry, the Z Club.
That gives you all the Zins.
Just Zinfandels.
It's basically Zinfandels, and it's a little pricey. I mean, these aren't cheap wines. These are $40, $50 bottles of wine, but they're always beautiful. I mean, I just love them. And then the other one we're having is a Russian Hill Pinot Noir.
Probably should have opened that first.
Maybe should have.
No, well,
it will
too
be.
bad.
It is lighter, but they'll both be
delightful,
delicious.
So this is great. You've talked about. By the way, so one of the things the thing that I really wanted to talk to you specifically about, like the thing that I find wonderful and intriguing about you is like I said, you are committed to just getting the most out of every moment. Your calendar is 6 weeks. You're booked 6 weeks out. I'm amazed that we're actually here together right now. And I know you were hounding me for like, is this happening? Are we doing a thing on the 26th? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So thank you for doing that because I wouldn't have done this otherwise. I probably wouldn't have put it together. But I find it somewhat ironic that you ended up at University of Chicago for graduate school because that is, by popular pseudonym, the place where fun goes to die.
Yeah.
And fun did not die there for you, I take it.
I managed to have a good time at the University of Chicago. I did go to the University of Chicago to get serious about my life. Like that was a theme of that move. I was at UCLA.
Yeah.
And I did well at UCLA, but I found LA to be just kind of, it didn't feel real. It felt just like La La Land or whatever. And I felt I had some desire to stay in California, but I also really had a desire to go do something new.
Yeah.
Try something different.
Huh.
And Chicago struck me as a serious thing to do.
Yeah.
Like and I'm happy I did it. It set me up for the rest of my life. But that said, I had a lot of fun at the University of Chicago.
That's funny. Is that so? That's
I met great people. Like, for me, the move, I was born in Hawaii, and I lived in Colorado and California. My family's from California, and I went to high school in California in Davis, and then went to UCLA, and then I came to the University of Chicago, and everyone just thinks you're crazy when you're coming from California to Chicago.
Yeah, most people are trying to make the opposite move.
Because the weather's so bad. And I never have enjoyed the winters here. I really don't like it. But I love the people. I really have loved the city. I've loved the vibe. And I've loved the people ever since I came here. And that was just... When I moved from Chicago to Oak Park, I thought, God, I'm going to miss the city so much. And I'm just doing this for my kids. And, and then... I tripled my friends. I mean, I got into the Tuesday Night Hoops basketball league, and just all our neighbors, as you know.
Yep.
And as you know, just incredible array of people. And I love city life. I love going to events. I love good restaurants and wine, and I love going to music events.
So, tell me more about this. So, have you always been? Because as long as I have known you, you have, like I said, you have, and the phrase that I've used, and I believe I'm stealing it unapologetically from Dead Poets Society, you're committed to sucking the marrow out of life. You are just like, I am going to Oaxaca to taste mezcal with my brother. I'm going to Tulum to see, for one big holiday with my morning jacket. I'm going to Ohana Fest. Yeah. I'm going sailing in the Bahamas with Kit Cummings. It seems like...
I'm going to Prague. Like, if you want
with your dad?
Are you going with notes on my life, I'm leaving on May 1st to meet my dad in Prague. My dad has a condo in Prague. My dad loves Prague, Bohemia in general.
Yeah.
He's always called himself a boho. But we're going there to commemorate the 80-year reunion or whatever, anniversary of defeating the Nazis in Pilsen, which is out where the brewery is that has his favorite beer. My dad loves Pilsen. He loves Pilsen Urquell.
Oh, okay.
He loves everything about Prague. So
okay.
I could do a whole podcast on my dad. But
yeah,
my dad's a very gregarious, very fun person. My mom is a very positive person, much more shy. But my mom is really about having special time. She really tries to impress upon you, like, enjoy the day. Both my parents are that way.
Yeah.
And I'm just blessed to be that way. Like, I am a very positive person. I think, I just have to say, I would tell my dad this, and he thought I was joking. I called him up when I was early in college, and I said, Dad, I just want you to know I feel so lucky that I have such good mental health. And he just thought I was joking. And in a way, I mean, it was funny. It is kind of funny, but like, I really take it seriously. Like, I have great mental health. I really...
You were talking about this.
I don't get down. And I also, I mean, I think some of it's through sports, and some of it as a kid. Like, I got into samurais and like Eastern meditation and stuff. And I got into meditation at a relatively young age.
Yeah.
And sort of just mind over matter and being in the now. And like getting rid of the bullshit and being focused on what it is that you want to do. But then combining that with just making the most out of life. It has been a philosophy of mine forever.
Yeah.
It is philosophically embedded in me. I actually don't know any other way than being positive. I really don't. It almost is a little weird, but I don't. I don't accept it. Like, when someone's being negative, I won't adopt it.
Yeah. But it doesn't come across...
I have bad days. I'll go, man, well, today's a bust. I mean, like,
that's it.
And I have, like, terrible things happen to me. And life can be just really
hard. Yeah.
And it's not that I don't get knocked down or get surprised or have life take my legs out or whatever. I've lost very good friends in accidents. Recently, my cousin lost his daughter in a car accident. It just wrecked me. I mean, there's nothing positive to say about that.
Right.
But I'm not going to let it stop my life.
Yeah.
Like, ultimately, it's a reminder to enjoy every day, because every day is a gift.
Yeah, because you don't strike me as a doe-eyed optimist. You're not one of those people who are like, you don't come across, you've got...
Well, I mean, I think I'm a realist. My parents were divorced.
Yeah.
I had to deal with a lot with that, with keeping the pieces together. And also that put me, like, when I was young, we were not well-to-do.
Yeah.
Like, part of the secret sauce for me now is I kind of live in a ordinary looking house, and I drive like a 2009 Civic that has 200,000 miles on it.
Yeah. Because
I don't need anything nicer. Like, that to me, that's great. car starts and goes,
Yeah.
good. I grew up kind of poor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I have everything I ever could have imagined when I was 13.
Yeah.
Like, just a stable house with food in the pantry and like a car that works, like unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I have a job that I'm good at and it's paying the bills. My wife works, that's even paying more bills. So I spend all my money on just
Fun.
events and fun. And I'm just also fortunate to have very fun seeking friends. So like I go sailing with my buddy. He has the boat, and we just have a blast. I just fly to Boston and he drives me to his boat and we get on his boat and we go.
Just sail around.
That's awesome.
You are net positive though, because like I have a good friend she was a good friend. She's a former colleague and now I would call her an acquaintance. Her name Morva Stubbings. Doesn't get much more Welsh than that. Morva. She would always talk about people being good value, and I feel like you have always, at least personally for me, and the way I see you approach everyone around you, it's just always you're additive, which is great. So
that also to me, I mean, and again, like I don't know, I don't think I'm like perfect by any stretch of the imagination either, but I think that both my parents are this way, and like I think maybe we got this from the Beatles. That like and in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make, and just so I've heard that from so many people, and it's so true that the more you give, the more you get. Like if you try to help people and listen to them and be a friend, they will do that for you. And it just is the only way to go. I think
one of my favorite conversations at I believe it was it McGaffer's? It might have been at McGaffer's Tuesday night, perhaps even into the wee hours of Wednesday morning. And we were talking. This came up, and I don't remember where it came up or who brought it up, but we were, someone was talking about how how asked you very pointedly, how do you pull this off? Because you're like, oh, I'm not going to be here next week. I'm good. Blah blah blah. It's like this, the schedule. Blah blah. And you kind of just like very thoughtfully were talking through it and like, well, this is important to me and this is how I maintain it. It's like, and then you said, you had this pause and you said, could I be a better professor? Yes. And it was just sort of like, but it was just such a lovely and real moment. And but again, like you said, like you're good at your job and you wouldn't be where you are. You wouldn't have reached the stature that you've reached at your institution without being good at it.
I am good at it, and I am a work to live. Just right on cue, the dog.
Yeah. Hey, nope.
Yeah.
Well, we can. This is where the editing software comes in really handy.
That's fine.
Arlo, no. All right, sorry.
I think I've always been good at balancing work and life. Ultimately, I am a work-to-live person. I have a kind of a job. A lot of people are live-to-work people.
Yeah.
And like the people like Kit Cummins, who I go sailing with, is very, very serious about his job.
Chemistry is life.
Chemistry. We both, while we're sailing, will work. He will work more.
Yeah.
So, and part of the joy of being a professor is you can have ideas anywhere and write them down and in that sense be productive, and you can delegate and you can have meetings, and a lot of being a professor I can do from a boat because I can Zoom, I can be on a phone call, I can write the right email, and so that's part of it, and just having a job that really suits me. But honestly also I just really have gotten good about being efficient with my job. The longer I've done it, the better I am at it.
Yeah.
Knowing what to delegate, knowing what to do, and being able to do things quickly.
Yeah.
You're
efficient.
I'm efficient. I know, and I also know sort of what it is, what I need to do to look good on paper. I don't want to be like someone that looks terrible, like dead wood or whatever.
Yeah.
But so it's a bit of a numbers game, like anything else. It's like, okay, it's this many papers, be on this many grants, do this many talks, and I know how to set that up and get it out there so it looks so it's right.
I love that but it's not like you're not pursuing mediocrity. You're pursuing a level of excellence, but it's a level of excellence that enables.
I got tenure. If I really didn't give a shit, I never would have became full professor, but I wanted to become full professor. So I do have some pride, and I like what I do, but at the same time, I'm not all in the way some people are.
Yeah.
I just like having fun too much.
Yeah.
I really do. I love being with my friends. I love being with my family. I love sailing. I love... part of it is I love just walking down the street and listening to the birds sing.
Yeah.
You know, I've taken up golf now. I love that. I love basketball. I don't know. I love life. I really do. I enjoy talking to my friends and thinking funny thoughts and just listening, seeing the sights on Earth. And it's just, I don't know. I love it.
Okay. So
I feel blessed. I really do feel like I'm a very positive person.
Yeah.
I'm very in the moment. I plan, but I always try to be in the moment. I try to be where I'm at.
That's presence or mind, not present. It is presence. It's being present, right? It's that idea.
I think that comes from sports. I think it comes some from Eastern thoughts, like it's Eastern religious thoughts or whatever. I don't know, like that, and my dad was a serious runner.
Yeah.
I've always been very fit.
Yeah.
You know, I'm getting older now, so but very high energy, very active, very doer, but I also get energy from others. I love being with a fun group.
Yeah. Oh, that's sneeze. How much sleep do you get a night?
I sleep basically 8 hours a night.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's not always, but I do. And like if I go to a very common night for me, like a just normal weekday, is I'll go to bed around 10.
Yeah.
Read a book, and I seriously believe in reading. I read lots and lots of books, and I always have, and that's just a great thing to do.
Yeah. Great. Now
I credit that to comic books.
Oh, as a starting point,
I think discovering comic books when I was like 11 years old was one of the greatest things that happened to me, because it just got me to read. Mm-hmm. And I just loved it. I loved Daredevil and X-Men or whatever. I love the stories, and that got me to read, and that went to books.
Yeah.
And I think that's just been a big thing for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
try to get my kids to do that too, but they like the video games too much.
The kids. I will say one other thing that I think is really another kind of bizarreness about our relationship is that both our daughters, who are the same age, are really into music.
Right.
Now, radically in radically different ways.
Okay.
Right. Mia's out in LA trying to make it like she's carving her own niche in the pop scene. Right.
Mia Pucci.
Mia Pucci. Yeah. Check her out.
Yeah.
And Nora is more into like the choral music, and she just did a week in Italy.
So talented
singing.
too.
Yeah. I mean, and they both are, right? Yeah. And it's just like those two, 4 doors down from each other, who. Like Mia was really athletic when they were little kids together. Right. Mia was super athletic. Nora wasn't. They wanted to be on the same soccer teams together. Right. I am actually funny. I've always appreciated their relationship. I something else that you mentioned about kids, which I think is really funny. I remember when Max was a senior in high school, and he was like struggling with the decision between. Was it like UCSB and Oregon? Right. You talking about how LA isn't real, and your brother. I walked into your house because we were gonna like watch a basketball game or something. We were just gonna hang out, have a drink, and your brother was on speakerphone trying to tell Max like, don't go up to the land of rain and scariness. Go to the place where you can go to the beach every day where it's not real. Yeah. It's like, oh my gosh.
That was Rhodes.
Okay, so it wasn't Devin. Okay, yeah. But anyway, so just a funny that immediately recalled.
Hilarious.
I guess like that. It's so interesting because I feel like we sit and have a conversation apropos of nothing, and it comes back to all these other little memories like through different parts of our existence together. Anyway, I'm conscious of the fact that people may be showing up because we are having people over tonight. We're having
a Tuesday Night Hoops event here. It's a
Tuesday Night Hoops and others.
Brew and View.
We're going to do Brew and View. We're going to watch Hoosiers with Gene Hackman, which terrible thing. You cannot get it without ads. Wow. On the internet. So we're going to be watching ads, which is a great time for us to get snacks and so on.
A little tribute to Gene Hackman. What a great career.
Yeah. And we've talked about death. We've talked about death a lot.
Yeah. Well, we're getting to that age.
It is. It's like it's starting to happen, isn't it?
Yeah. That's why we're enjoying every moment, right?
Indeed.
Cheers. And the Ridge
talk
East Bench Zen, lovely fruit, 100% Zinfandel. What do you get?
I'm just kind of like classic Zinfandel.
Brambly, just
yeah, it was like dark, like blackberry,
brambly,
dark red fruit. Yeah,
wild fruit mix. Just a beautiful wine. It's absolutely
still
great.
waiting to have a ridge that I want to spit out or pour back. Yeah,
that's delicious.
This is ironically on the theme of death. Quite ironically, one of Karina's coworkers who passed away 2 years ago, completely out of the blue.
Wow.
This was his favorite producer,
okay.
right? And so whenever there was like, because on that NPR budget, when you have a holiday party, you're bringing your own.
Yeah.
And Jody would always show up with like 2 or 3 bottles of Ridge something. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. Is a really good one. I didn't look up the tasting notes in time, so I ain't gonna share those. But yeah, this is it's wonderful. Can't argue with it. Do love the Zinfandels.
Yeah. I can do here.
You gonna Vivino it real quick?
If we just have a second.
Yeah, go for
I
it.
have this little app called Perplexity. It's an AI thing.
Oh, you're doing
This is one of my favorite things to do. So I'll say, is the Ridge
We're harnessing AI.
2023 East Bench Zinfandel a good wine?
There you go. How many points?
And then you get stuff like this. It's really funny. The 2023 Ridge East Bench Zinfandel is widely regarded as an excellent wine, earning high praise from critics and reviewers. It received top scores, including 95 points from Jeb Dunnick, 94 from Owen Bargreen, and 92 from both Wine.com and Zinfandel. Critics highlight its balance of ripe fruit, blackberry, raspberry, black cherry, this brambliness we were talking about, which is classic for them. Savory spice and refined tannins with notes of chocolate, sage, and earth. There you go.
I'm not getting my palate is
not a lot of earth.
I'm not getting chocolate. I mean a little earth on the back.
I'm really
but,
getting the berries right
yeah,
now.
tons of berries,
Just,
which is why I love Zinfandels, which is like
too.
one of my
It'd be great with some blue cheese. It'd be great with ribs. Just awesome. Yeah.
Surrey, I love you. It has been an absolute pleasure to sit with you, my friend. I've enjoyed this tremendously.
Anytime.
It's always a good time.
Always a good time.
Which is just
We didn't even talk about Chuchi.
we didn't. There's a whole other episode.
We might have to have an entire podcast.
There would be I mean, honestly, like talking about Chuchi, like just the origin story. You could do like a 4-part miniseries about the life of Chuchi.
Of course I could. I worship a man who was named Baird Pearson until he bit into a really bad plate of chicharrones and became Chuchi.
I would actually love to have him. I wonder he would open wine.
Oh, it'd be.
He would have a glass of wine.
Great podcast.
Yeah, he's a good
love
chat.
that guy. We love the Chuch.
All right. Well, let's call that a show. Until the next time. My guest again today has been Surrey Walton. Let's give away all the details. Like I said, we've known each other for a good amount of time now. He is one of my wine consiglieres. He has brought and shared with me tremendous wines over time, and we've enjoyed a lot of those together. And we'll be catch us on the court on Tuesday night, trying not to pull a hamstring, which is where we are in life.
Beautiful.
All right, my friend. It's great to see you.
Peace.
Bye.
Cheers.
Well, I've been drunk 1,000 times. Well, I'm sober up, but there's no reason. Living here alone in this country.